The air in the Florida Panhandle, thick with humidity and the scent of salt and sea, couldn't mask the putrid stench of death that clung to Judy Buenoano. It wasn't a physical smell, not directly. It was the phantom odor of betrayal, of calculated cruelty, of a life stolen, and a legacy of ruin. Years after her execution, the woman known as the Black Widow still cast a long, dark shadow, not just over the graves of her victims, but over the lives of those left behind, particularly her own children. A recent Reddit post, a simple sentence from a grandson, ripped open the scab on a decades-old wound, reminding us that the ripples of evil extend far beyond the immediate act, echoing through generations. I'm the grandson of Judy Buenoano. Her crimes didn't stop at her victims. They haunted her children. Judy Buenoano, born Judia's Rochelle Buenoano in 1943, was a woman of many faces and countless names. She drifted through life, a chameleon adapting to circumstances and shedding identities like a snake sheds its skin. Her early life was a struggle, marked by poverty and instability. Orphaned in her youth, she was shuffled between foster homes and relatives in the stark, often unforgiving landscape of the American Midwest. A constant search for belonging and security, a driving force that would, tragically, lead her down a path of destruction. In the late 1960s, she found a semblance of stability, marrying an Air Force sergeant named James Goodyear. They settled in a small, unassuming house in a quiet, tree-lined neighborhood, the kind common in military towns, where they raised their 3 children, Michael, James Jr., and a daughter, Kimberly. The gentle rustling of leaves overhead and the distant laughter of children playing in nearby yards offered a fragile illusion of normalcy, a canvas upon which she would paint her grim masterpiece, a facade of domesticity masking a deeply disturbed psyche. Her first husband, James Goodyear, a man who likely believed in the sanctity of their marital vows, died mysteriously in 1971. The official cause was an accident, a tragic exposure to a poisonous chemical while working with insecticides. Judy, grief-stricken or perhaps calculating, collected on his substantial life insurance policy, a financial windfall that provided a temporary escape from her persistent financial struggles. Soon after, she moved her young family to the sun-drenched, yet increasingly suffocating landscape of Florida, specifically to the coastal town of Pensacola. It was there, amidst the swaying palm trees and the relentless, heavy humidity that clung to everything like a second skin, that she began a relationship with John Gentry. Gentry, a local handyman smitten with Judy's captivating, albeit manipulative, charm, believed he had found love. He was unaware that he was stepping into a deadly game, a dark dance where his life was merely a pawn. In 1977, John Gentry also became gravely ill, his body racked with unexplained pain and confusion before succumbing to what was deemed a natural death, exacerbated by a sudden, severe bout of pneumonia. Again, Judy was there, the dutiful partner, ready to collect on another life insurance policy, the first stark hints of a pattern that would come to define her as a predator. Judy Buenoano's eventual conviction in 1984, for the murder of John Gentry, and later for the murder of her son Michael, didn't bring closure, not really. It was a moment of acknowledgement, a legal confirmation of the evil that had been unleashed, but the true impact of her crimes extended far beyond the courtroom and the prison walls. The Reddit post's author, her grandson, provided an unflinching glimpse into the profound and enduring consequences that lingered long after the verdict was delivered. The sterile confines of a courtroom, with its polished wood and hushed tones, could never contain the sheer, devastating human cost of her actions. The Pensacola community, once a place of sun-drenched beaches and quiet suburban streets, was forever marked by the chilling revelations of the Black Widow lurking among them. The children of Judy Buenoano, particularly Michael and James Jr., were forced to grapple with the unthinkable. Their mother, the woman who had nurtured them, the woman who had been their world, was a monster. They had to face the stigma, the whispers, the judgment of a society grappling with the horror of what their mother had done. The Reddit post is a stark reminder that the family of the perpetrator are victims of the crime, caught in the crossfire of their loved one's depravity. There is no denying the ripple effect from the victims of the crime to the families and individuals who were close to the perpetrator. They became forever associated with death and deceit, forced to carry a burden of guilt, The idyllic settings of their Florida childhood, the familiar scent of blooming jasmine and the salty breeze off the Gulf, were forever tainted by the dark secrets that festered beneath the surface of their family life. The impact on Michael was particularly devastating. He was a child, and the events forever altered his perception of family, trust, and the very definition of love. For him, the line between family and monster had been irrevocably blurred. The knowledge of his mother's crimes and actions had a lasting impact on his relationships, his mental health, and his ability to trust. The haunting of her children mentioned in the Reddit post is not just about grief or loss. It is about the constant, agonizing struggle to reconcile the image of the loving mother with the cold, calculating killer. It is about the long and lonely journey to reclaim a sense of normalcy in the wake of such unimaginable betrayal, a journey that many of them would continue to navigate for the rest of their lives, battling the phantom specter of their mother's darkness. The case of Judy Buenoano has, of course, entered the annals of true crime, becoming the subject of documentaries, books, and podcasts. The stark details of her poisonings, her multiple aliases, and her chilling lack of remorse are often recounted. But the clinical retelling of the facts often misses the most critical element: the human cost. The story of Judy Buenoano isn't just about arsenic and insurance policies. It's about the profound destruction that a person can inflict, not just on their victims, but also on their own flesh and blood. The grandson's simple Reddit post is a poignant reminder that even after justice is served, the wounds remain, and the echoes of evil continue to reverberate through the generations, a persistent whisper of sorrow. Judy Buenoano's execution in 1998 brought a semblance of finality to the case, a swift end to her reign of terror. But the closure it provided was limited. While the victims and their families were no longer suffering at the hands of the Black Widow, the trauma of her crimes continued to haunt those closest to her. Her crimes had also caused a deep fracture within her family that could never be healed. The impact of her actions extended far beyond the courtroom and the prison walls, seeping into the very fabric of her descendants' lives. The case is solved in the sense that she has been tried, convicted, and executed. However, the emotional scars remain, passed on through generations, a silent inheritance of trauma and pain. The ripple effects of her crimes will continue to affect her descendants, a constant reminder of the darkness that once touched their family tree, a shadow that refused to dissipate. The legacy of Judy Buenoano is a chilling reminder of the capacity for evil that exists within the human heart. It's a stark illustration of how one person's actions can shatter lives, leaving behind a wreckage of grief, betrayal, and lasting psychological damage. The pursuit of justice in these cases can bring a measure of peace, a sense of balance restored. But as the grandson's post eloquently illustrates, the true healing, if it ever comes, will be a long and arduous journey, undertaken in the shadow of a mother's terrible deeds. It underscores the importance of empathy and the vital understanding of the ongoing burden carried by those left to pick up the pieces. The case of Judy Buenoano serves as a grim reminder that the true victims of a crime are often far more numerous than we initially imagine, their suffering invisible to the wider world. The crimes continue to be discussed, examined, and remembered. The haunting of her children continues to this day, a testament to the enduring power of familial bonds, even when twisted by unimaginable darkness, a pain that refuses to be silenced.